Okay, here it goes. So, every day I wake up, and every day there's something on WLFI about somebody who got in trouble for drugs, and there's tons of people commenting on it, making excuses, and yelling at the people who are bashing them, and telling them that drug addiction is a disease. That it's this magical disease that grabs a hold of you, and that it's not your choice to do the drugs. You do it because you have a disease. Let me tell you from personal experience, that is bullshit. I know I'm going to have all kinds of people snap on me over this post, but I really don't give a fuck anymore. Because you see, most of you know I was an addict for a huge portion of my adult life. Started off with, the normal weed, then went to pharmaceutical pills, then I tried some cocaine and some meth, and it all ended with a very bad heroin addiction. Now, they told me throughout portions of my addiction that it was a disease and that it wasn't my fault, and that it was probably because my real father was an alcoholic, who, by the way, I had no contact with my life growing up. So how did that affect me? Supposedly through genetics. Well, so over the years, I started to think it was a disease, and I made excuses for my own addictions. Finally, one day I woke up in a jail cell for who knows the umpteenth time, and I looked around and I thought, is this really what I want to keep doing? Same thing over and over again. Using drugs, getting in trouble, and coming to jail. I looked around at the people that I was sitting with. They all made excuses for their drug addiction. Oh, it was this person's fault. It was that person's fault. It's the police department's fault for arresting me because I'm only hurting myself by getting high. I should be able to make my own decisions. Well, no, because you get high, you go out, you drive, you nod out while you're driving, and you kill a family and their 3 children, all because you got fucked up. So I started thinking, do I want to continue to be like this? Are these the people I want to spend the rest of my life with? Is the criminal world really something to be so proud of? Everybody acts like it's some loyal brotherhood. Like, oh, don't snitch. Don't snitch. There's honor among thieves. There's a code. There's a code you have to follow. A code for fucking what? Losers and dirtbags? How many of your addict friends own their own house? Have multiple cars? Have a career that they actually maintain? I mean, unless they came into money or own their own business, I would guess none. You see, you look around at the normal population, people who haven't experienced addiction or who have and who beat addiction. These are the people who have the lives that, in my opinion, are the lives you want to live. Owning your own properties, not being a slave to a chemical substance. So I made the decision in jail that I wasn't going to use anymore. That I didn't want to live that life, and that I was better than that life. So I sat there and I got sober. 37 days of the worst withdrawal, the worst pains, the worst feelings I've ever felt in my life. But I battled through it, and I refused to let my uncle bail me out. I sit for 6 months before going in front of the judge. The judge was ready to release me on probation, and I said no. Can I have house arrest or some sort of more consistent monitoring, because I need to be held accountable for my actions? Well, here it is 5 years later. I'm married to an amazing woman. I have 2 amazing stepkids and the most amazing extended family of in-laws that I could ever imagine. We own our house. We have 2 vehicles. The cabinets stay full, money stays in the bank, and the kids don't want for anything. Could I have done that while I was addicted? No way. No way, because first off, my wife never would have even found an attraction to me because she doesn't get down on that side of life. So, throughout this, I've constantly evolved, tried to grow opinions, figure out what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and it all came down to my decisions. My constant battling in and out of jail and prison, through one rehab facility to the next, to out of court programming required for addiction. It all came down to my responsible decision making, me choosing not to be an addict and writing off my whole past life. I gave up my career as a tattoo artist. I gave up everybody who I called friends. I changed everything, and guess what? It worked. It all comes down to your fucking decisions. People want to keep calling it a disease. For every doctor or medical journal that you shows me that calls addiction a disease, I will show you 2 that says it's not. You're basically coddling addicts. You're giving them an excuse for their bad behaviors. You're giving them an excuse to get high again. You're giving them an excuse to go to jail. And every time you bond them out or put money on their commissary, you're giving them an excuse to continue to live that life. It all comes down to poor decision making. You make bad decisions. You end up in jail. You end up on drugs. It is your choice. Now you say, I'm on methadone. I'm on Suboxone. I tried to get clean. It didn't work. Because major pharmaceutical companies have drug addiction in their pockets. Because a lot of it starts with their own medications. Oh, here, you sprained your ankle. Let me give you a Loratab for the next 30 fucking days for some pain you should be able to deal with. It's only going to last a couple of days. But they want to prescribe these miracle drugs. Now, all of a sudden, 30 days on this drug and you're addicted. They try to take you off of it. You go through withdrawal. You feel like shit. You're cramped up. You're constipated. You find another pill, you eat it. Oh my God, I don't have them pains anymore. That doctor was fucking right. Well, then it comes to the part where you have to get off the drug. So now they want to prescribe methadone or Suboxone. Okay, so there's this miracle disease that keeps you from going through withdrawal for opiates. But guess fucking what? It's habit forming also. The doctors tell you, hey, heroin's bad. Methadone or Suboxone are a little bit better. We're going to give you this. You're going to stay on it long enough to where you no longer crave the heroin or the opioids or the opiates. And then we're going to slowly wean you off of it. You can't just quit that either. You try to quit that and you go through withdrawal. I don't know how many of my old addict friends, when I was strung out on heroin, were on methadone or Suboxone. Guess what they did? They sold the methadone or Suboxone to go buy heroin or stronger drugs like Oxycontins, fentanyl, shit like that. You know, you say you have this magical cure. You say that it's a miracle drug, that it's going to alleviate the wants and the desire to do heroin or opiates, but it's bullshit because it's just replacing one drug with the next, which is what major pharmacology does on a regular basis. They tell you that this chemical is going to make you fucking great. It's going to make you feel great. It's going to make you come off the heroin, but it doesn't work like that, people. It doesn't work like that. It's all poor decision making. If it is a disease, then I must have been miraculously fucking cured, and the drug was called a clear mind and accepting responsibility for your own actions. You know, people ask me if I feel this way about addiction and chemical abuse, then how do I justify my past? Once again, it's all decisions. I'm so fucking tired of reading people sticking up for addicts, telling people that it's a disease they just don't understand. It's a fucking cop-out, people. Get over it. Fucking tough love. You either get clean, you die, spend the rest of your life in prison. I mean, what do you do? What's your choice?